Steve Jobs, Picasso, Martin Luther King, what do they all have in common? They're originals. That's right, they're disruptors, innovators, leaders in their field, and not only that, in the world. That's what Adam Grant's Originals is all about. It's about distilling what are the common traits of originals and how do we analyze the people in the past to help influence the people in the present to become leaders in the future. Originals, these people are valuable. They have no fear and they inspire others to adopt and adapt their ideas to change the world for the better. So, how do you become an original? Well, follow these 5 things from Adam Grant's Originals and you can become an OG yourself. So the first, number 1, is continuous questioning. So we have to understand that the world is created by people, and people created these systems to make the world run. Now, the whole idea about continuous questioning is to understand what the default system is so you can know what the rules are and bend or play with the rules to make it in your favor. Warby Parker, they're an example of how a company has understood what the system is like and changed it. They went up against a massive competitor, Luxotica, who owns 80% of the market share for sunglasses and eyewear. And they said, hey, why are $500 sunglasses even acceptable? So what they did was they understood the manufacturing, the distribution, and everything else in between to figure out how they can create a better price point through an easier channel to connect directly to customers. And now they're valued over $1 billion, and they stand amongst the most innovative companies in the world like Apple, Google, and Nike. So once you can understand the system, you can then bend the rules to make it go in your favor. And that involves continuous questioning. So, the second point is risk aversion. And playing off the Warby Parker example, these guys were full-time students committed to actually getting long-term jobs out of school. They didn't know that the side hustle of Warby Parker was going to even happen. And that brings the whole thought of, listen, if you're risk averse, it's actually better that way because you need something to fall back on. If you have a side hustle, you can actually put your more innovative ideas, a little bit more risk, a little bit more out of the box thinking into that to really make it come alive. So the sense of security in one area actually lends itself to becoming innovative and original in other areas. And researchers have looked into this and found that if you start a side hustle, you're 33% less likely to fail in that endeavor. So, being risk averse is not a bad idea. And now the third point to being an original is productive procrastination. And I want to bring in the late Martin Luther King and his famous speech, I have a dream. Not many people know this, but I have a dream was not developed over months, or maybe it was, but it was actually further fine-tuned and delivered very last minute. And it's a prime example of what social scientists call the Zeigarnik effect. Now, the Zeigarnik effect actually comes from a Russian scientist known as Boma Zeigarnik. And what he claims is that it's better to basically marinate over an idea and have your mind develop and flesh it out when you're actively not doing it. Because what happens is that as your mind is wandering and you're focused on other things, it's actually making the connections and forming the ideal idea. And what this allowed is for Martin to really give him some room to think of other innovative ways or whatever he's soaking around and whatever he's reading to put into that legendary speech. And to borrow from the theme of procrastinating and delaying time, timing really is everything. Other research in the book shows that those that are first movers into a market are actually 47% more likely to fail versus those who move in thereafter, which is about 8%. And that could be due to the fact that there's a lot more information going as a second placeholder than a first. So what that means is originals are usually late to the party. And that's okay, because you don't have to be the first to grab more market share or be the best. You just have to be better, more innovative, and original. And now, number 4. That's right. Create, 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 times it by 3, times it by forever. The whole idea of being original is to actually develop more quantity of work rather than quality. And that's because you don't know what the market dictates as quality. So what you need to do is you need to keep on producing to eventually have something hit. And when you find that hit, allow the marketplace to really absorb it and create more of that and feed them. That's what makes you an original. And now an example of that is Picasso, the very, very famous painter. But what you didn't know is that Picasso made thousands of sculptures, tens of thousands of other paintings. He did everything. But only the best that we see really bubbled up to the top. He knew about the quantity game, and thus we know about the quality. So you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you may as well take as many as you can. And then finally, the 5th point, you have to sell your idea. You have everything ready, but now it's a matter of how do you approach the market, how do you approach other people, and inspire them to adopt your idea. Now, what Adam mentions in the book is when you usually sell an idea, you have to lead with a fault. And that's because usually if it's not your idea, people are generally resistant to it, right? Better ideas actually are formed when other people think of it themselves. It's like inception. And when you lead with the fault, you actually look smarter in the sense that, hey, you're proving another point, you're developing rapport with that other person, and you're giving them a chance to really collaborate, to form a better way in actually doing things. So in other words, when you create this trust, you're able to work together to finally bring this idea to life. And another way to sell your idea is what Adam calls the anchor effect. Now, the anchor effect is a point of reference that both of you can lean on to really understand what the idea is. An example of that is when internally Disney was developing The Lion King. Nobody knew about lions and being a Simba, being in a kingdom and whatnot. So what they had to do was they had to anchor it into something that people already understood. So that's why they brought in the combination of King Lear and Hamlet with animals. Simple as that. And because of that anchor effect and how it was sold internally, they were able to make the 1994 largest grossing movie of the year that won multiple Academy Awards. And that is how powerful selling an idea is, using faults and anchor effects to really push it out into the marketplace. So there you have it. Adam Grant's Originals distilled into 5 points, which is 1, continuous questioning. Always understand what the system is so you can learn how to work within it and around it. Number 2, risk aversion, not a bad thing. What it really means though is pouring your all into certain aspects, but having a sense of security so you can really go at what the other idea is. 3rd, being productively procrastinating. And that means, okay, plan on as much as you can, but give time for your mind to really absorb what the idea is and let it work it out its own way. The mind is a brilliant thing, so let's use it more. 4, continuously create. It's a quantity over quality game. The market dictates what is quality. You dictate how much to push in the market. Finally, number 5, selling your idea means leading with the fault so you can develop that trust, make that collaboration, and anchor that idea so that more people understand what it is and are able to accept and build upon it to really create something great. And that's it. That's a summary of Adam Grant's Originals in those 5 points. My name is Truman. What did you like? What did we miss? What points resonated with you? Would love your feedback in the comments down below. And speaking of liking, hey, we'd love a few of these, so if you can show some love, would be greatly appreciated. And in addition to that, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to us. We would love to keep in touch so we can keep on feeding you this knowledge and we can grow together. But other than that, we appreciate you sticking around. And hey, we'll see you in the next video.